Even though John has earned $32,000 so far this year, he is only actually paid $22,862 in his bank account. This means he's able to keep only about 71% of his total earnings. Hey everyone, it's Prashant here. Welcome to my YouTube channel and thank you for joining me in today's video. Have you ever looked at your pay stub and wondered, what do all these numbers mean? And why am I getting paid so much less than I thought I was going to get paid? This is certainly something that happened to me when I first started working. Even though I was completely aware that I have to pay taxes and I knew that taxes are something that will be taken out of my paycheck up front, it still took me some time to completely understand what everything on my pay stub meant. Today we're going to be going through a pay stub that I created to make sure we understand each and every part of the pay stub and really understand what everything means. Now remember, this is a pay stub that I created for the purposes of this video and I had to make several assumptions in doing so. If you compare this sample pay stub with one of your own, there might be some things that look different, and that's completely okay. The point is to understand what a pay stub is and what everything in it means. It's not necessarily to compare this pay stub with your own. Let us first start with a more basic question. What is a pay stub? A pay stub is basically a document that tells us exactly how much money you got paid, how much your deductions were, and ultimately how much of that money actually made it into your bank account. Back in the day, you were given a paper pay stub with a paper paycheck. These days, the pay stub is mostly given to you electronically, whether in the form of an email or perhaps you have to log into your company's HR portal to get this pay stub. In either case, the pay stub is a document that should be available for you to review at any given time. Guys, before I continue with this video, I want to take a second to ask you to please hit the like button on this video and share this video with someone who you think would enjoy this content, maybe a friend or a coworker. This helps me greatly with the YouTube algorithm and motivates me to keep making these videos. Now let's go back to the video. Alright, now let's start looking at our sample pay stub. Along the top of this pay stub, you'll see some generic information, including the company name, the company address, the employee name, and employee address. Maybe there'll even be an employee ID to identify the employee in the company's records. On top of this pay stub also shows us a pay period. The pay period of this pay stub is 1 week. Pay periods can be different for each company. Some companies pay their employees weekly, such as this sample pay stub. Some companies pay their employees every 2 weeks, and yet other companies pay their employees once a month. Now this sample pay stub is for John Smith working at Awesome Company Inc. Going from left to right, there are many different columns. The first 5 columns are talking about how much money John Smith earned. The next 3 columns are talking about how much deductions John Smith had. And finally, the last 2 columns talk about miscellaneous things such as an expense report. The first column is description, under which it says salary. The second column is hours, under which it says 40. This means that John Smith has worked 40 hours this week. The next column is rate, under which it says $20. This means that John Smith is paid $20 an hour for his work. The next column is earnings, under which it says $800. This means that John Smith has earned $800 for this week for his work. The next column over is YTD earnings, or year-to-date earnings, under which it says $32,000. This means that John Smith has earned $32,000 so far this year for doing his job. Okay, let's move on to the next 3 columns. The first column here is again description, under which there are several line items, beginning with a 401k. This means that John participates in an employer-sponsored retirement 401k plan. If you don't know, the 401k contributions are pre-tax. This means that whatever the contributions John makes, these are taken out from his paycheck first, and then he is taxed on the remainder of his earnings. As we can see, John contributed $48 this week towards his 401k plan. Deducting these $48 from his earnings of $800, we get $752. This means that John will actually get taxed as if he were making $752 instead of $800. This is in fact a huge benefit of participating in a 401k plan. Not only are you saving for retirement, you also don't have to pay any taxes on the contributions you make up to a certain limit for every year. For the year 2021, this limit is set by the IRS at $19,500. Now, moving to the next line, John pays federal income tax of $85.52, Social Security tax of $49.60, Medicare tax of $11.60, and Illinois state income tax of $33.21. All of these amounts are withheld from John's paycheck every week. These taxes may be self-explanatory, but just in case they're not, the federal income tax goes towards the federal government to pay for everything, including defense, infrastructure spending, payroll for all the federal employees, and any other thing that the federal government has to pay for. The Social Security tax goes to the Social Security Administration, which uses this money to pay pensions to retirees. The concept behind this is when you're working, you pay this tax, and the Social Security Administration uses this money to fund pensions for retirees. And then in the future, when you retire, the people who are working at that time will pay into the Social Security tax, and the Social Security Administration will use that money to fund your pension in retirement. The Medicare tax is used to fund medical care for those over the age of 65 and those who are disabled. The final line item is the Illinois state income tax, which is the income tax John pays to the state of Illinois, which then uses it to fund payroll for Illinois state employees, state-owned infrastructure, and any other state expenses. Moving further to the right to the final two columns, we see an expense report. This means that John used $50 of his own money to buy something for the company, and now he's being reimbursed for it. Qualified reimbursable expenses are generally not taxed. At the bottom of the pay stub, we see 4 additional items. Once again, moving left to right, the first item we see is the current check amount. This is the amount of money that John is actually getting paid into his bank account. This is calculated by taking his total earnings of $800, subtracting all of his deductions, and then finally adding back his reimbursable expense report amount for a total of $621.57. The next item at the bottom of the pay stub is year-to-date earnings. This is simply showing us a total of John's total earnings throughout the year so far. The next item is year-to-date deductions. This is the sum of all the deductions that have been taken out of John's paycheck, including his 401k contributions and all the taxes so far throughout the year. The fourth and final item on the bottom of the pay stub is year-to-date net earnings. This is the sum of his total earnings, the gross earnings throughout the year, minus the sum of the deductions throughout the year. This is called his year-to-date net pay. This is the actual amount of money that got sent to John's bank account so far throughout the year. So you see, even though John has earned $32,000 so far this year, he is only actually paid $22,862 in his bank account. This means he's able to keep only about 71% of his total earnings. This is an important lesson for us for when we're looking for a job, setting up our budget, and understanding our expenses. Even though we might earn a certain amount of money, not all of that money is actually going to come to our bank account. We're going to have to pay taxes on our earnings, and that's just a fact of life. On top of that, we may choose to save and invest in a 401k or a 403b retirement account, which is ultimately good for us in the long term. I hope this video is useful for you so that you can open your pay stub and use what you've learned in this video to go through everything in your own pay stub and understand what everything means. Remember, your pay stub might have many more items that I have not included for simplicity in this pay stub. For example, health insurance premium, dental insurance premium, life insurance premium, cell phone allowance, vehicle allowance, and transportation allowance, just to name a few. Once you go over this information, remember to use your net pay to figure out exactly how much money you're getting paid in your bank account. This will allow you to understand exactly how much money you earn, how much money gets deducted, and how much money you have available to accurately budget for your lifestyle. This will allow you to know exactly how much money you make and how much money you spend and how much money you save at the end of the month. If you want to learn how to make a budget, I made a detailed video about that and you should definitely go and check it out. I will link that video in the description below. That's all I have for you guys in today's video. Please go ahead and hit that like and that subscribe button to help me out with the YouTube algorithm and help my channel reach many more people who are trying to start their personal finance journey. Also, go ahead and hit the bell icon to be notified instantly when I post a new video. I will be posting one new video every week with great new financial content, and I would love to have you guys back here. And go ahead and follow me on Instagram, where I post every week. I will put my Instagram handle down in the description. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.